Hey YouTubers, today we have a LG washer dryer combination and it's having trouble on the rinse cycle. It just pauses and we sometimes get an error code, and also it doesn't seem to be filling very well. So it takes too long to fill. This is a model number WM3488HS, and we're going to try first thing. Got it unplugged. I'm going to go around behind it and we're going to check out these filters here. So we got it unplugged and we've got it away from the wall, took out the drain hose. We turned off the faucets, turned all the way to the right, all the way off the hot and the cold. Make sure it's tight as you can get it. And we spun off the hoses off the back. This one is the cold and the red one here is the hot. And sometimes you might find that your filling problem where it won't do the cold rinse and it won't fill very good or fast enough is a result of these little filters on the back that are clogged with debris. So as water goes through the city water, it has little particles come with it, a little rust scale. It can come in and try and get into your machine, but your machine stops it with these little filters and they can get so clogged that not enough water can come in. If you think about it, the cold side is where you get the most volume of water. A lot of people use like warm, which is cold and hot, or just a cold wash, but also on no matter what wash it is, when it gets to the rinse cycle will always rinse the clothing and spin it near the end of the cycle with cold water. So these valves wear out prematurely, the cold side, and you're probably going to get more debris building up here. So you can take a pair of pliers. This is this needle nose pliers. Grab your filter, pull it out. You can take a look at it. And this one's okay though. It has a little bit of carbon in there, little pieces of carbon, a little dirt, but that's not bad. I just take an old toothbrush, rub it off, put it underneath the sink, and that'll be clean. And once it's clean, there's actually another filter back there too. You could check, make sure that there's nothing there, but that's a metal filter. This one's plastic, so it's kind of like a two-way safety thing. They don't want to get any dirt into that valve. But when you're done, you can just push that back in as far as it will go. And this is the hot side. We're going to pull that out. So the hot side in this machine actually has a little bit more debris, more stuff. And again, you just rub that stuff off under the sink, or you can use an old toothbrush, and then once it's clean, you can put it back in. Now, if you have stuff that's kind of back in there in the metal screen, you may want to use a squirt bottle and squirt in some water in a squirt bottle would be great, and that'll flush it out. You could use canned air too to just get that stuff out. Once you're all done, you can put that back in. And then you can try it. You can hook the hoses back up, make sure you turn the faucets back on, and see if it's better. If it's not better, it just means the valve is worn out. It's no big deal. They're really easy to change. They're very inexpensive. We'll put a link in the description below for the cold and the hot valve. We're going to show you today how to do the hot valve. It's probably a little bit easier. On the LG machines, it's common that the top of the hot valve leaks at about year 5 or year 6, and a little water leaks out all the time, constantly, and it just dribbles down, and it may show up in the lower back corner of your machine, and it's easy to fix. You just replace the valve. So again, you would turn the faucets all the way off, you remove the hoses. We're going to remove 2 Phillips head screws from the back of the machine so we can get the top off. So we'll do that next. Got one in this corner. Little Phillips head screw. We got one over in the other corner, same thing. All right, and while we're back here, we will remove 2 more screws. And these are little screws holding the valve in position. It's on the back of your machine. These are Phillips head. So we're going to spin those out. 1 and then 2. Okay, we got that one out. Now we're going to take the top off. To do that, we're going to take the whole top and move it back by about 1/2 inch. We'll kind of wiggle it and then lift it up off of 2 little clips that are holding it. I'm going to push back a little bit and I'm going to lift, wiggle it off of its clips. We get that off. Okay, we're looking at it now from the back, and I'm going to go ahead and pull this connector off. This is bringing power to the valve. So I'm going to grab the valve and I'm going to wiggle. That red connector came off. You notice that the cold side, it has 3 solenoids, 1, 2, 3. It has 3 power connections and 3 different hoses. So it brings cold water in at different times during the cycle. But the hot one's kind of simple. It just has 1 solenoid. So I have seen many times when there's a leak on the LG near the back, that here at the top on the hot side, a little bit of water just is dribbling constantly right here. But by replacing that, it'll get rid of the problem. So now we got that connector off, we can pull the valve toward us. And then to replace it, we just have to squeeze in on this clamp, move it back, and then we can just pull off the old one. Let's do that. So I got a pair of needle nose pliers. I'm going to squeeze in on the hose clamp, wiggle that back, and then usually these hoses are on pretty tight because they've been sitting there for so long. So if you can like spin it first, it's good to break the friction. Then pull. And you got the old valve off. And then new one will look just like this. So the replacement's the same thing. Just put it on there and then put the hose clamp. So we have this valve, this is the hot side. This is the old one, we're just showing how to clean it. Get an old toothbrush, go in there, put it underneath a little bit of water, fill it up. Again, you can just use a squirt bottle so you don't even have to disconnect it. Get the water out of there, all the gook. And then the red looking plastic filter, this is for the hot side, so we're going to just clean that up a little bit. Get all the junk out of there with an old brush. Underneath the water a little bit. The other side. This side had a lot of junk. Okay, that side. Alright, that looks good. So hot side's good. Cold side was not very dirty. A little bit. Same thing, just use your brush. Nice and clean, ready to be reinstalled. Okay, let's install the new one. So, here's our valve. I'm going to put the hose in there. Just wiggle it, get it all the way as far as it'll go. And then kind of turn the hose so that the solenoid is pointing up. Then take the hose clamp, use your pliers to squeeze in. Get your hose clamp all the way up there. Got it? Okay, now we're going to just feed this part through the hole. Show you guys the hole, through that hole. Put the power connector back on. I'm just going to wiggle it all the way. Remember, it can go either way, doesn't matter. It could be that way or that way. Push it all the way in, lock it in. We're going to add those screws to the other side. So we're just going to add those screws back in. I'm going to kind of move this around to get the hole lined up. Put that first one in by hand. Then we'll do the other side. A lot of people ask me in comments, they go, it's a nice Submariner Rolex, and it was given to me as a gift after 20 years of teaching. I'm also a martial arts teacher, just as a reward for that much dedication. And then people say, well, aren't you worried about scratching it? Isn't going to get messed up? And they're such good watches. They have a sapphire crystal that it's okay. They don't get banged up. The band can get a little scratched on it, but you can just polish it out. I'm just going to put these screws back in. 1 and 2. Got it. Okay, we'll put the top back on. Put those 2 screws back in, and then you're going to be good to go. You're going to have a machine that fills quickly and doesn't have any error codes. It does a rinse really good. Remember, we just did the hot side today. We cleaned the filters, did the hot side. But the cold side is the same deal. The only thing that's tricky about it is that there are 3 hoses and 3 power connectors. So you want to just label them so you remember, or take a picture with your phone. And then this procedure is the same. There's a couple of screws in the back you got to take out. Take off 3 hoses, take off 3 power connectors, and just like we did on the hot side. So it's same idea. Watching our video, and please subscribe to our channel when you get a chance, and also click the little bell notification button so we can send you weekly videos on all the different ways of fixing appliances around your home and saving you lots of money. So thanks again for watching, and please also press the like button for our video if this was helpful to you. Feel free to contact me at the email listed below, which is scottthefixitguy@yahoo.com.